Ulonga tabati yada tó yẹ kó máa da ifá. Inú tó yẹ kó jẹun lọ fi fipá. Ọba tálá, ọba takuntakun. Ṣàngó, Èṣù, Ògún, Ọya, Ọ̀ṣun. Kí ni ṣẹ̀ṣe tán ṣe nílé yìí o? Ó jẹ́ lọ jára rẹ̀.
Alafia, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Ifayemi, and tribe. We are back once again with Olomitutu, and the last name was, I messed it up last time. I want to mess it up. How I said the last name? Yeah,
Ifayemi.
Okay, so I'm gonna make sure I get that name right, man. So, and shout out to the lovely Chanel. We got a new subscriber who I think she might have just subscribed last night, man. So I appreciate you joining us again, the lovely. And shout out to all the tribe who was with us last night on the live stream with Uncle Hank and our brother Arisha Stone. It was a dope transmission, a dope conversation, man. And we're definitely looking forward to doing it again. But with that, I appreciate all the love, the support, the likes, the shares, the comments, all those good things that y'all always do, tribe. And shout out to the private community. We had a dope call tonight, man. So shout out to the tribe who was there to chop it up with us, in the private community call where we had some really, really dope interactions and exchanges there as well. And with that, it's been a lot, man. It's been a whole lot. It ain't been that long.
Yeah. No, the ancestors been working, working us, right?
Lean the list. Look, I said the same thing last night. I'm like, yo, the ancestors is present, and boy, they are making it known, man. Because I had some powerful, experiences in nature this past weekend working. It was for the ancestors, man. It's like they showed up and showed out through nature, and through spirit. So it's like I was looking forward to having this conversation and really getting it cracking, because I know you have a very unique, special gift where you can tap in and you can kind of receive messages and receive communication directly from the ancestors. So that's something I definitely look forward to getting into as we go about this cultural preservation conversation. But before we do that, first and foremost, I want to say a happy belated, birthday. You just celebrated another trip around the solar sun. So, how does it feel? How does it feel?
This year has been amazing. Numbers are important, right? And everything that we have on this plane is just about helping us connect with the next one, right? So however you perceive that, however that helps you work your Ori, then I say, right? So may it be. So for me, this is the four is Olokun's number, right? And I turned 44. And then 4 plus 4 is 8, Obatala, right? So this year has been filled with Baba Obatala unlocking the various chambers of my brain, helping me unlock the various chambers of my brain, being present for that, resting well with me. Obatala loves me like his own. And so with that strengthening various parts, your body is a total machine, right? So working to be able to have the discipline in the physical has enhanced my spiritual gifts, Ojimeta, which is Olokun's domain, as Olokun is the owner of the third eye. So it's been a beautiful year. A lot of things have been happening, and the most beautiful thing is perspective, right? Because life be lifing. Oh, yeah. Don't get it twisted. Life is doing the same thing to me that it's doing to everybody else.
Life is doing life things. Listen.
Right. And we're navigating this because this is what it looks like when the world shifts.
Yep.
And I think for the first time for a lot of us, this is the first time we're aware and present of this huge paradigm shift where America's we know America's bad, but we here.
Falling.
But where we are, wait a minute, this livelihood, this thing we have, this thing we're used to has had a dramatic shift that it's never quite bounced back from. We've always had the illusion of the bounce back. Like I remember up until that military exercise they did called COVID, we always seem to bounce back from the little
Mhm.
recession, the little dip, the little this. We seem to have bounced back, but they can't play with the numbers anymore, and we are suffering. And we are being challenged in other ways. So I think a conversational cultural preservation is on point. Like
Mm.
it is well overdue. It is a timely conversation. So yeah.
Mm. I
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Ashe. Oh, and listen, I gotta sincerely just dedicate that and give glory to the ancestors, man, because like we both
Mhm.
said, it's been working. And so when it came down to, I think we discussed this last week, about a week or two ago, that we were gonna do it today. And at the time, we hadn't discussed a topic, we hadn't discussed, the title, none of that. Like, but what I've learned is to listen and be obedient to spirit, and it never leads me astray.
Oh
So for
God.
me,
Yeah.
I don't really never I don't put too much thought or energy or effort into things always having to be always buttoned up to a certain, you know what I'm saying? Like it gotta be this, it gotta be that in a regimented way. Certain things, yes, but when it comes to like this type of work, nah, I don't feel like, because spirit always has an audible. Spirit always has, you know what I'm saying, something that can be tossed into the play like at last minute, or several minutes before or whatever. But I said all that to say, when it came down to like coming up with a title, I was just like, spirit, just like cultural preservation. That was a hot topic in the first conversation we had. So I remember saying in that call, like, yo, that's a whole show within itself. So here we are. And shout out to the brother who, it was a lot of great feedback from your first appearance, but there was one particular brother who was like, yo, I appreciate your channel and your show, bro. He's like, but this was the best one by far. So I'm like, yo, that's dope. So I told him, like, yo, I'll make sure, I appreciate you first and foremost, but I'll make for sure EI gets that message as well. And a matter of fact, shout out to the brother and sister who made it to the Bimbe a couple of weeks ago, man. I think they
Yes, yes,
down,
yes.
forgot where they drove. Was like, I forgot where it was, but it was a little
Oh,
drive.
Fowler. Yeah, no, so
Oh,
it was a
yeah,
trip.
yeah,
And he
yeah,
came though. And that's important. That is what we have to do.
yeah,
That is what we have to do as a people.
yeah, yeah.
We aren't the plantation has been extended, right? It has been taken out of these silos. So the plantation is nationwide. International, but specifically the American plantation has been expanded. So therefore the righteous minds have been dispersed.
Mm,
We're all over the place.
mm-hmm,
So because of that, we have to make the pilgrimage to commune with one another. Our
mm-hmm,
holy land is coming together.
mm-hmm,
So if you ever had an opportunity, if we are serious about this spirit world, unless your budget affords it tremendously, no, we are at the point in life where there is no such thing as a non-working vacation.
mm, mm,
Um,
mm,
if you are called to the waters and you go on vacation, some say go to Jamaica, go find the culture,
mm,
go build with the locals,
mm,
throw your flag and figure out who's like-minded before you even get to that destination. You can go put your toes in the sand, all of that spiritual and therapeutic, but no more Disney World vacations. We done with that. If you want to go adventure on nature, I mean, do what you want to do. It's your money, but I would advise. Let me put it like that we are at a stage where we are critical. I do believe that rest and relaxation and rejuvenation are a part of being able to continue to go, because you can't pour from an empty cup. But I encourage everyone to make everything in their life meaningful, because that is African. The African is practical. And we're talking about the African perspective from our spiritual understanding, from what we always carry, not the fact that you're a continental African or born on a continent, because we have been corrupted all over the world. So simply the practices of somebody who happened to be born in Nigeria today or Ghana today, those their principles may not reflect African ideals.
mm-hmm,
And sometimes we hold on to that, especially of various cultures, where we're born in it, so we get it, not counting the atrocities that have happened to inculcate European cultural norms amongst us.
mm-hmm.
So I would suggest to anyone, if you are watching this, it is never on accident. I tell people this all the time: nobody ever meets me on accident. And that's not me talking about me as a person. That's the spirit that is within me. I know what I came to earth to do. So when Africans have a moment to sit down and talk with me, it's because I'm a conduit and it's a message from your peoples. And never make your everything you do must be for the work and liberation of African people, because we are late. But we're not late, because time is not linear, but victory is definitely on our side, and we must operate like that. So yeah.
I say. Now I receive and appreciate all that. Shout out to Booker, man, because my boy said, glad to see she's back because the women around me has been asking for more from you. So yeah, trust and believe, bro. I appreciate the love and support first and foremost, and definitely, like I said, after the first one, I've been on her. Like, yo, the people need you, man. I gotta get in the really all the guests, you know what I'm saying? Like I really do.
Yeah, man. This is a powerful, you got a powerful platform here, Black man. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep
Appreciate
going.
it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, now that we done served the little hors d'oeuvres, the spiritual and lyrical hors d'oeuvres, it's time to dive into the meal, the main course, man. We done did the course. Now it's time to hit the track. We got to drop the verses now, because we are both artists as well. I don't know how many of them know that, but y'all can drop some bars too, just in case of anybody. I done dropped a couple bars on the show here and there, a little sprinkle, a little dab, like a little thing, like I forgot a little meme back in the day where you toss a little season.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But man, so to get all the way funky with it, first and foremost, I see you got the aqua blue. I see you got them colors on, and it's something, some colors. So one of the things that in self-reflection I was thinking about, in regards to after the first conversation, we did speak about you being a child of Olokun, but I don't really feel like, we did any justice to, and no slight to the first show because it was dope, but I just feel like I don't feel like we went in on the regards of the deity of Olokun. So before we get into like the whole cultural preservation, and then there's several other things that I definitely can't wait to tap into, can you kind of share with the tribe and myself, for those, because most people who know the tradition that's not all the way deep, or even some that are, don't know a whole lot about Olokun, because we mostly know about the seven major Orisha, the Shango,
Yeah.
Oshuns, the Oyas, Imojas, Yeshus, but a lot of people don't know a whole lot about Olokun. So if you don't mind, can you kind of share first and foremost your thoughts and your initial mindset of when you found out you were a child of Olokun, and then how it's been since, especially since
Okay.
initiated as
How's
a
it been since? Got it.
Olokun, because I remember when I got my first ceremony, I just knew I was Shango. But now Risha like, no, you're a child of Obatala. And I was like, okay, cool. So, it was like a misdirection for me, but then I had to study and research and learn a lot more about Baba. So with that, how was it with you? And how was it, when you found out that you were a child of Olokun?
First of all, that's funny because when you talk about my daughter had the exact same experience. You could tell now that she wasn't a Shango baby. And when
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
she just knew she was Shango. She was betting on it. And when them Lekes were giving it, her head was Obatala, the weight went out her shoulders. She was a little sad, she good on Oshun, so she tried to butter her. She's like, you never know when you get initiated. Your role could be, Batala with that one red V. You never know. But yeah, no. Right. And then, then you come into an understanding of Baba, and then you realize that the white Shango that is Obatala, right? And then it's kind of like the balance of, Obatala, Ogun come together. That's how that energy, because African energies are never isolated, because we as African people are not isolated. We are not individualized. I like to stay away from the term, because I hear Black people say this a lot, and they adopted different white people. We're not a monolith. To a certain extent, we are. African people, and that's the cultural continuity, and we'll talk about that because that's essential to preservation of who we are. At the core, we are all the same, and I don't care what your African spiritual system is. Baba Smalls teaches us that if we juxtapose these African spiritual systems, you will find the continuity across the board. So whether we are talking about spiritual system of the Akan, whether we are talking about the spiritual system of the Yoruba people, whether we are talking about the adaptations that have come across the seas, we are all talking about the same spirit because we carry the same spirit. The spiritual system is just about us viewing how our worldview is shaped for where we are because again African people are practical. If I need to work the herbs, the waters, the winds of this particular area, those deities will come to aid in the working of those, but those still elements are still the same. So talk about Olokun, right? Olokun, okay, so let me start from the basis before we go deep. But that's
Go
Olokun,
ahead.
right?
Go ahead.
So Olokun's number is 4 and in the Marianne de Lagoon pathway, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Let me start off by saying I know what I know, and there's still so much more to know.
Oh, yeah.
So if you know more, welcome to it. I'm gonna start with
Right.
that.
Right.
Um, Also, Olokun is the owner of, as I said before, Ojumeta, the owner of the third eye. That ability to see the unseen rests with the children of Olokun. That ability to feel the unseen rests there as well. Olokun is also the deity that deals with the subconscious, uh, and thus trauma, which makes sense. Those things that our personal protections have had us buried deep. Uh, Olokun is also the keeper of African spirits. Uh, the European fed over 1 million souls to the waters of Olokun in the midst of Amaafa. All souls travel through water. Yeye Baba Olokun has kept those spirits. I say Yeye Baba because Olokun's energy transcends gender. I don't want to use the term androgynous because that's been given too much, and because the European has a bastardized ideal of that, we don't want to put that in the brain. Olokun is just Olokun. Uh, the waters were here before the land. If you look at any African people's story of origin, you'll find something similar to that, right? The world was all water, and then the land happened. So Olokun's domain is all waters, even sharing that with other energies. So the river is Oshun, the river is Olokun. The stream or the lagoon or other bodies of water is Erinle's domain and Olokun. All water belongs to Olokun. I would venture to say even your swimming pool, though that water has been stripped of certain things, the fact that it is water, it still has some of its quality. So that is still a local's domain. When you drink water, you are ingesting a local's domain. Your body is 70% of a local's domain. So because of that, we all should propitiate to a local and travel to waters and tell Yeye Baba Mojuba. A local kept us. A local got us here safely. Every last one of us is a descendant of someone who passed safely through her waters. So we must remember that. Olokun is also the deity of African people. Olokun comes from, and this is another thing. Okay, so it's another thing that's important about African spirituality and cultural preservation to understand how the African worldview and how the African viewed its neighbor was totally different than the European. Olokun actually comes from the Benin people. And Olokun is adopted into the Yoruba cosmology over the centuries when the Yoruba absorbed the Benin culture. Olokun at one point is Obatala. So Obatala, king of the white cloth, as it translates to. On the continent, Olokun devotees wear all white. Because that is the Olokun energy, right? Olokun is deep. Olokun is vast. Olokun is heavy. When people ask me like, how does Olokun energy feel heavy? Like, I don't attribute that to good or bad. It's just intense. Olokun, Olokun is the owner of wealth. Olokun holds many treasures, and most importantly, what wealth is. If we understand that the real currency of the world is not money but energy, we exchange our energy for money. When we go to work, that is an energy exchange. We take money, then we give that money our ashe, and then we use that. We give that money to some people for their energy. You know, when we want to for literal energy, lights. You know, we exchange. Oh well, but it's all an energy exchange. So when we understand what wealth is, it is the vast ability to always be able to transmute the energy. So a local gives us that ability. A local keeps us sane and grounded. If you are feeling out of whack, if you are feeling like emotional turmoil, take your feet to the water. Take your feet to the water and leave it there. That is why we do everything ties in, right? So that is why we do the ritual at the first of the month for the women when we come to the water. There's a lot that we have to transmute. And what we don't understand for women, as women, because we've been doing it so long, is that when we live in a hyper masculine society, and I mean, it's problematic for Black men too, but we'll talk about that in a second. When we live in a hyper masculine society, masculine energy is a harder thing to transmute than feminine energy, because feminine energy is mutable, it's fluid, it's easy. You know what I mean? So masculine energy is a hard thing to transmute. It's why in certain cultures, when soldiers would come back, when warriors would come back from battle, there'd be a time frame before they were reintroduced into the regular holes of society. That is our tradition, because their energy needed to be transmuted. It needed to be dialed back because they tapped into the revving of their masculine energy. So you take that and you put that on the backs of Black women for centuries. You put that on the backs of Black women for centuries. Then you put all of these other ideals. Then you put the European woman's ideals of that her freedom is just to match her man. And then you got the African woman attempting that. And that's how you get lost Africans who appear in a female sense. There's a difference between a female and a woman. Womanhood is earned through rites and rituals and proving oneself. Female is a genetic disposition you're born with. And so we as women, we have to transmute that energy. And Olokun has the power to assist us in that, to always return to our feminine, even in a hyper masculine society. Olokun is able to do that because Olokun transcends gender. So the masculine and feminine rest well in Olokun. The balance is there, and she can go in, you can come out, whatever that may be. And that's a conversation to understand masculine and feminine. And they're not just about your physical. Every African has a balance of masculine and feminine. Black men, balance masculine and feminine very well, which is why they are the most nurturing of fathers. Like, that can't be denied. Like, when the studies are done, when a Black man is present in the home, he has the ability to nurture. Nothing is cooler than to see a Black man handle some business, then turn to you, I'm sorry you had to see that, sweetheart, and immediately go back into it. It's amazing. It's always magical to me, right? They can punch somebody in the face because it's their time to defend something, and then turn right back and pick up their daughter and go take her for ice cream. And you know what I'm saying? When Black women have to transmute masculine, you know, when we get to the point where we got to punch somebody in the face, you got to come get us. until somebody got to bring us back down, right? You know what I'm saying? We ready. You know what I'm saying? And when you get people, if you see a black man that's balanced, he can real quick because he's an African man and he's balanced and he understands that his rage is righteous. So therefore he's not taken, he's not transmuting his masculine energy through a feminine lens. So therefore he can come back. When you see men and they can't calm down and they want to tear up stuff, they don't have that ability. They haven't tapped into that ability. I won't say they don't have it because we all have it. And because we are Africans, we are born complete and we are born perfect.
I sure.
And so we just had all this experience is about remembering how we bring that back into alignment.
Yeah. And you know, oh man, you said so much, and I had to like, there's a couple of little things I had to run and grab real quick while you was sharing because the energy just it resonated with me so much. I had to go grab a couple of physical, tangible items that I want to share with the tribe on screen because that energy is powerful. You know, and before we even came on air, you know, I was like, yo, you got the colors on, like, you know what I'm saying, like. It really resonated with me just seeing the colors, right? But everything you just said is so real because I'll never forget. Like I remember one time I was walking into work and minding my business, you know, I ain't bothering nobody. And you know Brandy, and so this was like when I had first met her, and we was talking, and I was on the phone minding my business now, and it was one of them folks had to make a comment about me coming to work and minding my business, but they made a comment and they were trying to be funny and like say some sideways shit. And I jumped out like double dutch. I jumped out, checked him real good, I must say, humbly, but I checked him real good. And then I jumped right back in like I was double dutching. And I swear to God, I continued the conversation like nothing happened. She went, whoa, wait a minute. You ain't finna act like you ain't just take off on somebody real quick and then jump right back in. I don't even know how the hell you did that. I don't think I ever experienced nothing like that, but you ain't finna act like that just didn't happen. Like, what just happened to make y'all like, don't worry about it. It don't even matter, but I handled it. Like, don't play with me. But, you know, so it was just funny because I really had several experiences in life like that where, you know, you can kind of go into that mode to muck some ish up real quick if you have to, but then you can kind of get right back into whatever you do. So I love that and I appreciate that. But the waters though, you got the colors on, and then like I said, I seen them, and so when I'm sitting in my little space right here, I have like a little cabinet that's sitting in front of me where I have some pictures and stuff. So when I saw your attire, I guess it spoke to my mind's eye, and I guess that's the subconscious Olokun because I got the shout out to my mama. She got me this dope card for Father's Day, but it looks almost identical to like the colors that you got on. So that's what I'm saying. It resonated on multitude of levels, you know, with just the clothing that you have on, but then the ashe that's behind, you know, who you are being a child of Olokun, but in the priestly manner. Shout out to Queen Liquid Waters. I left that on there because I don't want to tell her business, but y'all got some strong affiliations in regards to y'all priesthoods. I'll just leave it at that. But then I had to kind of grab some of the real Olomitutu that I got from the waters on the shores of Ghana. And I remember I had that day, I think I had visited Elmina. And I remember the prayers that I shared, you know, in those dungeons to the ancestors. And it was powerful because I forgot my OT that I had bought specifically to give them an offering on the tour. And Baba Tolu was like, don't worry about it. He's like, man, when we finish the tour, at first I was going to go back. I was going to lead the tour and I was going to go back and get the OT and come back and do my prayers and give my libations to the ancestors. But he was like, nah, why don't you wait until we finish the tour and then go and get it and come back in because then nobody else will be in here but you. I was like, oh, yeah. And that's what I did, man. I went back out there, got the OT, and when I tell you I said some prayers, I said some prayers. I mean, I said some prayers, and I promise you, I feel like they showing up and they showing out. I ain't saying all on my accord, but I damn sure know I contributed because I know I said some prayers.
Oh yeah, and that's that cultural continuity, right? Because we've been saying the same prayers, and
Yes,
gotta love Africans, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's powerful, man. So there is so much you said in that, man. I can go so many different ways, but for the sake of time and conversation, hopefully maximize getting the most out of it. There is a significance that comes to Olokun and the connection of Olokun, but you said something that kind of it sent my mind to another space, because when you mention Olokun being a female and a male deity, or it really can't be encompassed to either or. It really did remind me of Obatala, because we know that Obatala has the same, essence. So, I feel like that's powerful, because most
Mhm.
people would only know Imoja, but the depths, if I'm not mistaken, and this is from the diaspora perspective, because I know people on the continent would be different, but for us, from what I gather from my studies, and I'm gonna say like you, I don't know everything, I ain't acting like I do, but from my
Mhm.
studies, the way I've seen it from a person who was raised in the diaspora to then cross over and to be a part of this tradition, Imoja would represent like the immediate, from the shores of the sands to like a certain level or depths of the ocean. And then from like the deep, deep sea and deep ocean is
Mhm.
where Olokun would then almost like pass the baton. Or I'm sorry, Imoja would then pass the baton from her to Olokun to go into the
Mhm.
depths, the deep depths of water
Mhm.
in the ocean. So if that's the case, I would say, is Olokun the mother, or i.e. father, to Imoja, or vice versa, from your perspective, and then from you in your experience of being a child of Olokun?
So for me, I would say that because we understand that Olokun's energy was brought, the ideal of Olokun was brought into the Yoruba people. And so at one point, Olokun was just ocean. So the mother father thing. So as we stated, on the continent, it looks different, right?
Right.
Olokun, Yemoja is actually a river deity on the
Mm,
continent, right? And then
mhm,
Olokun is the ocean.
mm,
It's just the Olokun. And then there's other Orisha that come into play as well. So it's as far as my understanding from here, when you say Olokun is the depth and Yemoja is like the ebb and flow, I don't find their relationship mother child
got you.
in tandem at all. It's more like a shared energy, if you will.
Got you.
And so Yomoja represents the for me, as I understand, the ebb and flow of life, right? The
Mhm,
waves, the way things are brought in and washed away. That's Yomoja. So that's how that goes. The deep is no one knows what lies at the bottom of the sea, right? That is a proverb for a local.
yep.
And a local owns the deep because that's that vast unknown.
Mm,
And that's where all the treasures are. That's where the people are. That's where the shipwrecks are.
mm,
That is going down into the depths of Olokun. And so yeah, that's how I kind of view that.
mhm.
I'm pretty sure other cosmologies could they be in detail, but that's how it works for me when I and if we study Orisha songs and stuff. The Yemoja and Olokun are used interchangeably in their songs. People will tell you this is a Yemoja song, or Olokun will be mentioned because we also know that Africans are practical.
Yeah.
Right. So
Even in the
right,
books.
it
Yeah.
doesn't, yeah, it goes
Yeah.
together.
Yep.
Africans
Yeah.
are practical people. And so everything and in Yoruba, when we study Yoruba, everything you speak is a contraction. Your
Mm,
name, my name, Olomi Tutu, that is Olo Omi, owns Omi, that is fresh, that is cool.
mhm,
So that is how you get. So Olokun is Olokun the title, and Olokun, which is simply owner of the ocean.
mm,
So you'll hear Yemoja Olokun, owner of the ocean. So uh I love how I've been studying the Yoruba language a little over a year now, directly with direct study, as opposed, we've been studying it indirectly by learning the songs, the prayers, but like learning how to break down the language and why it is one of the most beautiful languages I've ever heard in my life. And it is so practical and it speaks so well to the African ideal and the African spirit. When I tell you one thing we always have to remember is that we as Africans are practical.
mm,
Ritual and practice is a part of our everyday life, and it is so important. Um, The European parties and bullshits. We do not. Not at an African center. When we party and bullshit, when we just do things that just be loose, that is not our culture. That is the European culture. We dance and sing for everything. If we know anything, being in this culture, baby, when people be like, "Oh, you're two-step," man, we have a ball being African. You hear me? We have a fantastic time. The same people I build with is the same people I party with, and when we party, it's always with a purpose, and it's a beautiful experience. And we get down. We go all night. We'll leave a party and be like, listen, I got to go. Y'all Africans going too long, But it's always with a purpose. It's never just to just be doing something. And coming into the culture, I found that to be beautiful because, for a lot of years you just did something, right? You in the club as escapism. You listening to this type of music as escapism. You indulging in this type of liquor or smoke or whatever your vice may be as an escapism.
Yeah.
And we don't have to if we embrace our culture because we don't need to escape our culture. What we're doing is we're escaping from the European paradigm that's putting us up and through there.
Yes.
So we need a moment to numb out.
Realization, the you know what I'm saying, the enslaved mind, like all that, like that's a real thing. Cabin fever, whatever you want to call it. But that's what we, striving to escape from.
Yeah.
That's real deep. And what's crazy is that's just it. What's amazing is that the last time I saw you in person, we was having a celebration. Shout out to the Ibejis, man, because that was powerful. It wasn't like the party, but it was powerful. You know what I mean? So it's like with that, I think I saw somebody here that the School of Urban Philosophy, they gave a shout out. I don't know if that is Baba Imhotep, but they're giving a shout out to Baba Imhotep. But either way it goes, I feel like that is something that's going to help me to kind of pivot to the next aspect of the conversation and the questions that I wanted to ask you. So we spoke about cultural preservation briefly before we came live, but then we spoke about some other things that went down. So you had the opportunity to go to an event that I definitely wanted to go to, and shout out to the Beijing because they had told me about it a while ago, but so many different things kind of unfolded in my personal life that I wasn't able to make it, but you was able to make it. So I'm going to live through that experience vicariously through you. So with that, I'm going to pivot on over to that part of the cultural preservation. How was the Race First convention? And first and foremost, I hope you got a chance to meet Marima Ani.
Yeah, I did. Bang,
One of my favorites, man. I haven't got a chance to meet or, you know what I'm saying, see.
You got her presence is amazing. And I suggest, okay, so in May, there's the ancestral veneration that happens. And so I Okomo Sonson, I don't want to pronounce it wrong, but we definitely want to head on out. It's so funny you mentioned that's exactly whose book. If we're gonna talk about cultural preservation, you can't have a conversation about cultural preservation without Let the Circle Be Unbroken by Iya Marimba Ani Kinkamashi.
Wait. Can you put that back up? Because look, I see she got something that look real familiar right there, that red. That look real familiar. Anytime you seen this channel, you saw that too. So
y'all see how thin this book is? I don't want no excuses. It need to be done. You got a week to read it. After you order it, you got a week to read it, and then you got to go read it again. I've read this book at least 3 times in my life, and I'm revisiting it this week after being at the Race First convention. So first and foremost, shout out to Baba Imhotep Fati, you and the crew at PLM in Baltimore, Maryland. Them Africans did that. Them Africans. That search. I was reflecting on that. So my most recent book that I've picked up is by Sister Njia Fatayu, which is African Womanhood in the 21st Century. That's my eating this week. And I'm diving into it. I want to say that I didn't know the book existed. I would have ordered it much sooner because African Manhood in the 21st Century, I bought 5 or 6 copies when Baba brought that one out, and I gave them away because there was some men. Listen, this is how you do it. This how you do it.
We're
This
gonna
how
need a
you
book
do it.
list, and we're gonna need a website list because I haven't tried. Forgive me for not being able to keep up with the comments, but I already know the comments is coming. They're gonna want to know where can we find these books and
Absolutely.
what are the titles of them. So
If
before we wrap it up,
anybody is in the comments that can post it, by all means, please do. And then we'll also put some links up later. So
sure.
remember, Ani talks about culture being our immune system. So let me, before I get into my books, because I got them here because I got text and quotes. I got a couple of books we're gonna get into. But I want to say that this weekend was absolutely amazing and phenomenal. I was able to sit in a room with Africans who do it. I promise you, everything we think we should be doing, got to be doing when we are online talking about black folk ain't doing. I was in the room with the doers. Listen,
you know what else now too though, but yes.
It was some heavy hitters in that room. You hear me? Yeah. History was made, and I learned history. And if anybody know me, man, I love me some history. So Baba Emotel schooled us, right? And he talked about the other black race preservation conventions that have happened in our history, going back as far as the 1830s. And I didn't know that it happened. And and we could definitely have that conversation. Also, I would encourage you to have Bob Imhotep on the show.
Make the connection, man. Listen, I want him. If you can make that happen with him and Ani, listen.
I was certainly mention it and see if he's available for that. But when I tell you powerful brother,
I'm all for it.
Powerful African, and he's consistent, and he is disciplined, and he is intelligent, and his wife carries the same. They are complements, and they are reflections of that same fortitude. The Africans in his circle are just as dedicated, and they hold the line, and they hold a tough line, and it's a hard one to hold. It almost folded me up a couple times, but I couldn't unsee what I seen. And the ancestors turn you every which way but loose after you make a promise to what you're gonna do and you try and backslide. So
whoa, respectfully. I'm gonna ask you respectfully. Can you please say that one more time? For the people in the back, and if you don't mind slowing it down, I'm gonna get all the way off the screen because I know I'm a recipient of that. So can you share that one more time for the people in the back? I'm gonna hop off.
The ancestors will turn you every which way but loose if you made a commitment and then you try and backslide. And I get it, because when you jump out into these waters, it's a heavy time. You say, I know. For me, I don't know anybody else's mission in the world. I know I came to save African people. I know that's what I was born again to do, and what I'll be born again to do. I like the tussle. I like the tussle of fighting for our liberation. A lot of people like to say this their last time around. I don't feel like that, because we ain't won yet. And we ain't gonna win before I'm gone. So I got to come back and do it again, because the lessons I've gotten this time gonna help me show out next time. But I'm gonna sit for a minute, because I'm excited to be a powerful ancestor. So whenever my children's children call upon Olomitutu Ifayemi, she come in to show out, because she coming to see about her babies. And when I return again, I'm gonna still be fighting for African people. And I sat in a room with Africans who I know had that mission from the beginning. So let's talk about. I got goosebumps.
No,
so let's talk about.
I did too. I swear to God,
having this gift to be able to see folks, right? That's in the spirit realm. When I tell you the room was so full, I had to run up out of them. Me and my phone was trying, but the room was so full. I saw great leaders circling. The women leaders were circling Dr. Marimba Ani.
I
You
love her.
understand what I'm saying? I can't explain to you how I saw Amy Garvey, how I saw Dr. France Quest Wesley Ibadatunu standing next to this sister while she delivered, how I saw the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, how I saw the Honorable Malcolm X Ibadatunu standing next to how I saw Huey P. Newton, how I saw Fred Hammond, how I saw them in that room standing next to Baba Fatayu when he led that charge this weekend. So what I encourage all Africans to do is when the articles for the African people are released, do not walk but run to buy as many copies as you can afford. Let selling out be the problem. Do you want Africans from 33 organizations gathered to come to solve the problems of African people in the world, with a commitment to solve the problems of African people in the world? And I want you guys to please support. We as Africans need to support and preserve African people and those who have dedicated their life to doing this work. The way we support them is we patronize their scholarship. When they pour out time. I wrote a book of poetry, and I write poetry. And just putting that book together is more than a notion. I couldn't even, man, I don't know how Baba do it. I can't imagine Baba Rudy putting a book together this big.
Mm.
We got the purchase. Because that's how we keep the knowledge in our homes. Every African should have a library. There's been too much work done and too much sacrifice done. Dr. Chancellor Williams sacrificed his sight and health. Dr. Clark sacrificed his sight and health to bring us these things. Our library should be filled. Our children should be able to go into the living rooms and to our dining rooms, our children and grandchildren, and pick up a book and see themselves and have their African condition explained to them, because we live in a society which is going to try and strip that. And it's going to come a day where you will not be able to get these books, and you certainly won't be able to get the versions of the books that we have. So purchase, patronize Africans, donate to PLM, pay your African tithes. That's the beauty. You know how back in church you had to pay your 10%, and you had to hope you saw where it went. You could buy a book. You know where your funds are going. And you receiving something. You're receiving years of dedication from these Africans' knowledge. You're receiving that. So purchase books. Don't worry about when you're gonna read them. You'll read them. No, listen, I got books I ain't read yet, but I purchase books every chance I get, because I want Africans to know that I value their scholarship, and I also want to learn. Listen, but yeah, Baltimore is phenomenal. I ate good food. I put 2 and 2 together. I passed Druid Hill Park and realized that Druid Hill was from Baltimore. Don't do me, people. It took me a minute. I'm slow, but I'm fast at the same time. And so there was a lot of things. I was able to eat good vegan food all weekend long. And while I'm not a vegan, I don't understand how we all don't eat vegetables. So it never occurred to me why people be like, oh, I'm not vegan. But the vegan restaurants was phenomenal. Land of Kush was phenomenal. The caterers that we had at the facility were phenomenal. TNAT, listen, I went into a haven. And that African couple has created a safe space in the middle of some rough, what they call a rough neighborhood in Baltimore, though I got nothing but love there. And it was just a beautiful experience. I encourage Africans to every African make the pilgrimage to Baltimore. As I've been studying the rich history of Baltimore, I intend to make it again when I could just explore Baltimore. There's a Blacks and Wax Museum. I didn't get to make it this time. I went the very last time I was in Baltimore, which was like 10 years ago. Support that museum. Go to that museum. We only keep we can't say we don't have institutions and then we don't patronize them. Our institutions can't run on air. These people have to, if these people are going to extract themselves from the European slave mill to go the extra mile to create safe spaces for us, it is our duty to make sure their doors are always open. We all got a little bit of extra money in our pockets, and you might only have $10, but imagine if 1,000 of us could give $10 a month to one institution or this institution. We can keep these things open and growing and flourishing. We all sad and up in arms about the African museum, about African American museum that the European has sanctioned. You see that? That's what happened when you put your culture in a Smithsonian. They'll give it to you and they'll take it away when they get ready. So, but guess what? Guess what they can't take? They can't take the Blacks and Wax Museum. They can't take a privately owned African American history museum. They can't take that. So if we fund it, we all we got and we all we need. So if we talk about preserving culture, before we even get into anything else, put your money where your mouth is. You want to preserve culture, support these institutions that go the extra mile. We have African Center schools. You need to be donating to the Uhuru Academy. You need to be donating to the Akabe Institute. You need to be extracting your children from these systems. If we want to preserve culture, be brave. Be brave. I know it's tough. I know you work a 9 to 5. When my daughter was 9 years old, I went to my family and told them I wanted to take her out of public schools, and I was met with such opposition and no help that I didn't take her out. Though my daughter received culture in part at home, I feel like, but I see the enrichment from children that never have that indoctrination, right? And so hindsight is 2020, and the ability to facilitate is there as well. When I have grandchildren, they'll never have to step into those institutions. However, my family has to come together to make to release me from the plantation to help rear my grandchildren. That's what's going to happen. My mother has had that beautiful ability. My niece didn't have to go to daycare because my mother was the daycare. I didn't have to go to daycare growing up because the old folks, my great grandparents, were the daycare.
Yep, me too.
We have to make those concessions. That is a part of culture as well. That we remove the old folks' home and daycares from our systems. That we go the extra mile to stuff your old in nursing homes and go visit them. That is a European ideal because you are losing a treasure. You are losing founts of wisdom. You are losing teaching your children responsibility. We wonder why our children are irresponsible, and it is because we remove responsibility from them because we want them to live the soft life of the European, and that is a grand disservice to our children. I was having this conversation with somebody the other day where a lot of us are childish when we have children and we're left without guidance. So we do childish things to our children. Like we weren't raised with Jordans. So your 5 and 6-year-old got every pair of Jordans you could think of. Mamas and daddies going into debt to make Christmases happen or holidays happen. And then, I'm sorry, my phone about to die and I don't want to die.
No. Okay. Hey, real quick, while you do that.
Going to make holidays happen. And next thing you know, a child turns 18 and you release them to the world and say, figure it out. Now you've given them, and Dr. Amos Wilson, about us who said this first. So you've given them this expensive appetite, but they don't have the budget for it. You got this child accustomed to $200 shoes every 3-4 months, but you giving them a job that it's gonna take. But then they're at a stage of life where the job is gonna take them 4 paychecks to afford 1 pair of shoes because you told them they got a taste for $200 tennis shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about preserving culture and preserving our children, we must first teach them to be responsible. We must first teach them to be for themselves and for the Africans around them. And one way we do that is to let them aid in taking care of the elderly. Because that's what happens, right? That is how our culture worked. You have your children, your little ones, your teenage group, helps to take care of your little ones and your olders once they're to the great grandparent stage. So you have parent, grandparent are in that working realm. Grandparent is still healthy enough that they go between this part where they help take care of the little ones. When mama has a baby, and once that baby is of the age where they're no longer breastfeeding, first of all, I believe that women should at least have a year off when having children. You need time for your body to recuperate, and you need time to build those bonds and feed your children healthy. We live in this paradigm, but I feel like if we make the conscious effort, women could at least have a year. And then what you have is you have your grandparents that are old enough to retire from the workforce, but still young enough to be able to do. Like my mom is retired from the workforce, but she's still able to keep small children. So that's what my mom did for my niece. And then you have like my grandfather's 95. Well, see, now it's time for my daughter in her age group to see and take care of my grandfather, her great grandfather. And that is how we keep the circle from being unbroken. That is how we take care of one another. That is the practical application of African culture. That it needs to be African. To eliminate the old folks home and daycare is to be African. There, Dr. Clark teaches there's no words in our original tongues. There's no words for daycare or old folks home because it's unheard of in the African ideal because we take care of each other. So I think I went into culture, but it's important. The preservation of culture, it all ties in. The Race First Convention all ties into the preservation of culture. Olokun preserves culture. Olokun is the keeper of Black people.
Listen.
So I listen. I know what I came to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and look,
I know what I came to do. I'm not always clear on how to get it done, but Spirit will lead you in a direction. I promised the ancestors that if they
can you hear me?
If they aid me in fulfilling this mission, I'll always speak their praises and will always go forth and work for liberation. And so far, that has been available to me.
Can you hear me?
And as soon as I figure out how to retire myself from the plantation, it's going to be even more up because then I can say really what I want.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
But yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Baltimore was a beautiful experience. Baba Imhotep says up to us as the people as to when the second convention is going to take place. I speak for it to be biannually. That gives us enough time to be able to put the things in place and return the funk and return and report back. What have we done with the things we promised to do? I think that's important, and I think every African we should support. I'll say that again: support independent African institutions. Support independent African institutions. They need us and we need them. They are for us and we are for them. That's it. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Oh, no. Oh, nah, is it me? Let's see. All right, well, let's see. We can get you back in, brother. And that's probably why I kept talking because I couldn't hear you.
What, you hear me now?
I can't hear you yet. I don't know what's going on.
You still can't hear me? Oh wow! Give me 1 minute. It's some bullshit.
If somebody in the comments, if they can hear, so.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Let us know what we got going on. I can't hear. I don't know if it's mine.
1 2 1 2.
If y'all can hear Baba, please say so.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check 1 2. All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull out this some bullshit.
Wow. No problem.
Wow, this is some bullshit. 1 second, yeah. 1 second. 1 second. Wow. Shit.
All right.
You hear me now?
We got it working now?
You hear me now? This is some bullshit. It's okay. Thank you. This is let me see.
It's all right. It's all right. Spirit gonna do what they do. We gonna talk. We gonna work it out. I don't
What about
know.
now? Can you hear me now?
Um.
Can you hear me now? Wow, this is some real bullshit.
So another book that I had that I want y'all to support too, Baba Baruti at the Aqaba Institute, Higher Ground.
Can you hear me now?
Listen, Higher Ground is
Fucking God,
thoughts on
bullshit.
spiritual healing for warriors. And
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
I say Baba wrote this book with me in mind. I know it's other Africans he wrote it for, but I feel like he wrote it for me. I feel like he wrote it for me. I'm gonna stick to that.
Mic check 1 2.
Baba Mulema Baruti, Mama Yah Baruti, out of the Aqaba Institute over there up there in Georgia.
Mic check
I
1
make
2.
sure y'all support them Africans.
Mic check 1 2.
Through some beautiful African in the culture, a couple of Africans. I have all of his books. So
can you hear me now?
And it's always a good time. And Baba has written on everything on how to publish a book, to be a self-published author, how to play chess and use it because we are practical people, use it from the African paradigm, and to how to all the way to how to spiritual practices, common sense and security, how to secure things as an African. So these are our preservers of culture. The preservation of culture is the job of all Africans. And in order to preserve culture, we must identify culture. African culture is life affirming. African culture is reciprocal. African culture is a respecter of nature. African culture is a respecter of people.
Can you hear me now?
So whenever you're dealing with things that do not align with these categories, you are not working from an African paradigm. The preservation of African culture is solely the duty of Africans. The preservation of African culture is just for Africans. So whenever you're dealing with something that's not such as that, it is a wartime response from the ancestors. Because there are people that are not African that be deep in our culture. And there are times that our culture was returned to us through non-Africans, but that's because spirit had to hang on to it till it got back to us. Because we've been traumatized, right? They strip us. They try and take everything from us, including our humanity.
Can you hear me, Ia? You can't hear me?
But we are the only humans. We are the only humanoid on the face of the planet. We are the humans. Everything else is mankind.
Can you hear me? Ia, can you hear me? Oh my God!
I'm talking about this, and on In Higher Ground, Baba Rudy says, Black people are righteous people by nature, and Black people are righteous people by nature and are other than righteous by circumstance.
Can you?
Yeah. We are righteous by nature, and when we
can you hear me?
When we get away from being righteous, it's circumstances that pushed us into that.
Okay, real quick, because I see the message, y'all hear me, but for some reason she can't hear me. So real quick, family, can you hear me now? Yeah, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Let's see here.
Can you hear me?
Okay, so let me try and come out.
So, yeah, something's going on, man. Boy, listen, this is something.
I don't know, because I guess the audience can hear you. I can't hear you.
But
got it.
Come on now, you know it is. All right, Tribe. Well, listen. So I appreciate all of y'all. Thank you for everybody. For working for riding with us as we work through this foolishness. But it happens all the time, unfortunately. But I was trying to catch up with the comments as hopefully could rejoin. Because it is definitely some real. One moment, y'all. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Wow. Can you hear me now, yeah? This is crazy. I don't know if we dealt with this
All
yet.
right. I hear you now. Got it. Got it.
Man, listen, I want to knock the whole table over, man. I'm like, come on now with this bull-ish, man. Come on now. Like, it's been a lot. I done dealt with a lot, you know, with these
Yeah.
types of conversations, but I guess look, you was dropping too much heat. I'm gonna respectfully say, you know what, you was bringing too many floods and too much Olomitutu to the shores of the land, and you know, whoever is the alphabets and whoever's listening, they ain't want it, you know, but whatever. And try for those who might not necessarily agree with certain sort of language, but I have to say this because it's on my spirit. Fuck them people, real quick. So anyway, and I mean that. Fuck them people. So I'll edit that out, maybe, possibly. I don't know, but because I know it's all kind of interference that be going on, you know, when we have these kind of that's why I like to have the private ones because we can really go in. But so anyway, man, I'm talking about I've been talking for a minute too, like trying to just trying to interject and like just elaborate on what you were sharing. But it's like they you know, things happen and anywho, but you can't hold us down. We're gonna keep doing what we do.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna go all the way back to messages from like 20, 30 minutes ago because I was trying to like get your attention to elaborate on some of the messages. So I'm gonna go all the way back to like 9:49. So shout out to Queen Liquid Waters. She was talking about the books. So do you mind sharing the books like one or two more times, or at least like the books at least one time, so I can kind of get that for the tribe and then share it. And then okay, so let the circle be broken. And is that
Let
the
the
one
circle
by
be unbroken.
Unbroken? Is that the one from the
Marimba Ani. Yeah,
okay.
Marimba Ani.
Let the circle be unbroken. Okay.
And also Higher Ground. Thoughts and Spiritual Healings for Warriors. Also the book I'm reading, African Womanhood in the 21st Century by Iya and Gia Fatayu. That's in the room because it's right by the bed because I've been, give me a book that I love real quick. I can't put it down and I'll be having to go to bed.
Higher Ground. Who was Higher Ground's by? Look, I'm taking notes, man. I got my pen and my
Higher
paper.
Ground is Baba Baruti, Baba Mulimbu Baruti.
Okay. Got you. Appreciate you. All right. And then I don't know, did you share any more? Because like I said, I've been trying to get your attention to bring that to the tribe.
But
They asked
and I
a
could be
while ago.
going, and then I at first I wasn't looking up, and then when I saw you talking, I wasn't sure they could hear you, so I didn't want dead air on your show. So
you don't worry about it because I can edit out, you know, for the upload. But like things like that happen, and I know why they happen, and the tribe know why they happen too. That's why they ride with us because they already know what it is. So I was just trying to make sure that I
the
could
book
get
from our last session, K-Buka.
K-Buka, and I had several people that said they already grabbed that one.
Yes, because this gonna talk about that trauma. You got to remember where we been and why it's been such a traumatic experience. Yeah, we must always remember that because that's how we honor our ancestors and that's how we help understand our ancestors.
Yeah, man. I don't know what that. Well, I kind of do know what that was about. So, my apologies, tribe. I appreciate y'all for riding with us and sticking through that foolishness. And same to you, Ia. My apologies for the technical difficulties, but yeah, that was crazy. But you know, it is what it is. So, anywho, I forgot where we was at before dealing with that foolishness because there was several things I wanted to get in before we had to get out of here, but the little technical difficulties that it seem like we always have them, but I got an idea why they happen.
Absolutely.
And shout out to Booker. He said, "Brethren, if you don't mind, could you also drop a book list?" Yeah, I could do that, bro. What I'll do for mine is I'll probably post it like on the community post tab because I've shared. I don't know if I shared it on the public channel, but I definitely shared it with the private tribe, my little personal book list. But then again, I gotta listen. Humbly speaking, somebody said, I don't know who it was, but they said your book list should be bigger. Your books library should be bigger than your TV. I agree with that. I can't remember who it was, but somebody in the tribe said that. So shout out to you.
I always say, I own more books than I do shoes. I'm not that kind of girl. You know what I mean? Like when women collect shoes, I got books. But I grew up with a library, and that's why representation also matters. I grew up in a home with a full library. I grew up with educators. My aunt, my grandma, they mother, you know, educators. And
Mm-hmm.
so I grew up where a library was a normalcy to the point where I thought I went to other people's house and I found it weird that they didn't have libraries.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, y'all don't have a library? Like I grew up where wall to wall books. There was a room of the house with wall to wall books and shelves built in. When I tell you library, I mean library. My aunt still has a library in her home, and I hope that mine reaches the level of hers one day. And if she ever happens to transition, that's all I want is a library.
Listen, look, I found it. Shout out to Unique Tribe, man. I appreciate you, Queen. Like, yeah, that's what it was. I love that comment, man. I was trying to stay on on task with the comments, but it's moving fast and y'all doing what y'all do, and we appreciate you for sure. And then I had the technical difficulties, but that was the comment I was talking about. Like, your bookshelf should be bigger than your TV. I agree 1,000,000,000% with that.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I do remember now what one of my questions was or comments, but it's kind of dope, man, because and I won't share too much because I know how certain things got to stay in house. But shout out to our Elay, man, and our personal tribe and what we've been doing collectively, on a weekly basis. And my personal tribe, in the Ashe community, we've been doing that for the last couple of months in regards to, like, I give a Odu of the month for the tribe. And we've been collectively, pulling together to appease, the deities and for the prescriptions that come along with that particular Odu. And so tonight's private community call, we chopped it up about that. And I'm like, yo, listen, I don't want nobody to feel like you obligated to donate 1 penny, because I'm not about to lock the doors to the congregation and say you can't leave without donating. We don't move like that around these parts. However, if you want to donate, that's just going to make it a bigger, more powerful offering to the deities. And trust and believe, I'm going to do it. And, I'm going to do more because, if we choose to contribute more. But you made a comment earlier when I got muted somehow, some way, about when people donate to a cause, you want to see and know what that cause is being donated to. And that's one thing that I just shared that with the tribe tonight. I'm like, yo, last month, I was already going to appease the shrines. I said, but because we had so many donations, I was able to, instead of appeasing just one, I appeased 3 or 4, you know what I'm saying? Because we had, but I'm not taking the congregation money and running off. Like, we don't move like that. So
we don't move like that because we African.
Man, listen, that spoke.
Africans are morally upright.
Listen, and there's several people on this, like on the live, that was in that call too, so they know what it is. But it's powerful how the divine alignments. And I was sharing with them, like, yo, I donate to my Elay and to my tribe too, because I'm like, I want all the blessings and all the protections I can get, and I know how powerful my Elay and tribe is. So it's like, that's a real thing. So I'm grateful for you sharing that, so they can see it and hear it from another perspective that's unbiased, or that's even dedicated to me and what I do. So that's what's up, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, Bob. I appreciate that. I was, me, I'm just gonna go where spirit goes. So those technical difficulties, I don't know.
I know where they come from. They don't want these kind of conversation, this information, in the ethers, but it's too late. Like, it's already done. You can't stop it. If you think you can stop it, go try to stop that ocean.
That part.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Man, listen. So with that being said, I'm trying to scroll through the messages and the comments real quick. But did you have anything that you want to share with the tribe? And matter of fact, I got a couple more questions too, if you don't mind. One, we didn't get you tapped on it, or you tap danced on it, but we didn't go into it. But one of the things I wanted to share too, can you kind of share with the sisters who are in the Bay Area and the Florida area about the sister circle that you do at the waters? Can you kind of share that, because that's one of the things I wanted to hit too before we got out of here?
So every first Saturday of the month, we meet at Cypress Point Park. You can Google it for the address. You won't get it confused. Cypress Point Park at 9 a.m. I try to be there ahead of time. Last month I had a little technical difficulties, but this month, but I'm still there. I still come. But bring your mat, bring your pen, paper, and any offerings spirit lays upon you to bring to the water. And we meet there at 9 a.m. and it's just a safe space to be an African woman. It's hard. It's hard being an African woman in this world, and it's real hard when you're a single African woman. All my single African women know that, because I love Black men. But an African-centered man can find a non-African-centered woman and pull her to the center because it's our nature to when it's our nature to allow leadership where leadership is qualified. However, it ain't always the same when a woman is African-centered and the males are not, right? That's a different that's a different challenge in the world. But so this space is where we as women hold a sacred space for each other. And I think we use the term judgment free too loosely, because it's not a space where just everything is okay. But it is a space where everything is okay to talk about. And then the women that are present will hold you in love and accountability, because you owe yourself the best version of yourself. And this is for me as well. And so we are here to speak life into you and to help you frame that, help each other frame that, right? Because you're going to help me frame it too. And that's what we do. That's what we do at the water. This is a ongoing movement and walk. It was laid upon my spirit a couple months ago, and I promised that I would stay dedicated to it. Baba Rudy talks about the fact that we know that our greatest inner strength comes from self-discipline. So I am working diligently to be an African of my word, because Africans are trustworthy, and you can't be worthy of trust if you do not honor your word. And so with honoring that word, we gather at the water, sisters. It is open to women of African descent, and we are available every first Saturday at 9 a.m. at Cypress Point Park, and you are welcome to come. Only thing we ask is that what happens at the water stays at the water. It's a safe space. And that is part of the covenant. When you come there, we don't discuss other sisters' business. We don't talk about what happened at the water as far as people business. It's a Iya for Shango Falade comes out and she says, can I tell people about the way you call a local? I was like, that you can tell. But as far as what our sisters talk about, we're going to keep that sacred and safe, because we deserve safe spaces where we can be African women. And sometimes that's hard in this world that wants us to be anything but. But we are warriors and we'll strive for that. So, yeah.
Ashe. Yo, matter of fact, let me bring this one back up. Shout out to Iyalude for saying shout out to the Ashe tribe and some true warriors. Yeah, our whole tribe collectively, not just this tribe, but the tribes I'm affiliated with too. Yeah, you right. We the ultimate warriors, and that's why we do what we do. So with that, yeah, it was powerful. Yeah. So real quick, because I got another one of your Olokun Emoja brethrens, not brethren, but sistrens that wanted to know about one of the books. So I told her, because she's been riding with us for a long time. So shout out to Queen Liquid Waters, man. She a real one. Been riding with us for a long time. So I appreciate you, Queen. So I had to pull that one back up. So I got you. So she wanted to know, who was the author of Higher Ground book again?
Baba Mwalimu.
Sure.
Mwalimu Baruti.
Sure.
And his website is the Akobin Institute. You can order his books from there.
Let me write that down. How you spell that? Yeah.
Akobin Institute.
Yeah, I'm gonna share it in the chat just in case for those who wasn't able to.
Let's see.
And tribe, don't forget, you can go back into the channel and then go to the live streams, and I'll have the episode up soon. But you can go back to the live streams and then just screenshot it. You know what I mean, and like replay the video to get the information again as well. But I'm gonna definitely write it down and then post it.
AKO. B as in boy, EN. At that house, akobinhouse.com.
Got you.
Yep.
Got you. Okay, I appreciate it.
And you can order all of his books directly from there. That's directly from him. So there's no middleman in them. So we are able to support Africans, and he has other authors there as well. So it's important. But anything you want to know, there's a book for that. Africans have written and they've done their scholarship, because we are geniuses and we are brilliant people. We are so brilliant that we didn't need books for a long time. because we talk about rites, rituals, and passing of things. We are oral people,
Yeah.
so it used to be a time where you had to memorize these things. It was your sacred duty to memorize the Odu, to memorize the teachings of your ancestors. And that's also how you keep that connection. It's also how you keep your brain sharp. You know, we live in this paradigm where they tell you, oh, memorization is what staves off these other things. Whole time we had that in our African genius. So yeah.
Yeah, that's real. And real quick too, a couple of quick last minute questions because with you being a water deity and you being, the child of the most, and I mean the most powerful water deity, that I know of. Well, and it could be cross referenced because shout out, I think it was Brother Yusuf Muhammad that spoke about the waters of Nun. And he's cross references the Kemetic spaces, which we do that all the time too. And another thing, shout out to Baba Kepra Patah because he's like he a master, man. He's definitely one of the very few people that I know that has the Yoruba Ifa, tradition, and his level of that mastery is on the same level in the Kemetic tradition. I don't know a lot of people who can do both the way he do it.
Okay.
Gotta get him back in here as well. Again, but I say all that to say the waters, are very powerful. So we've been doing some Ori prayers and a couple other different rituals in the tribe. So one of the things that I share, if you aren't able to get, because one of them I think it recalls for like kola nut to be a part of it for appeasing the Ori, but some people may not be able to get it or may not have access to kola nut. So I'm like, yo, just tap into the water, program your water with your intentions, with your affirmations, etc. So with you being a representative of Olomitutu, of the water, of that Ashe. Can you kind of share, if you don't mind, like some ways that we can kind of share with the tribe that you can give, in closing and wrapping it up to be able to utilize and access and activate the power of water?
You touched it right there, Baba. Speak your intentions into that water.
Mm,
When you open up a bottle of water, speak your intentions into it.
mm.
There's an old juju ritual for money prosperity. I'll leave this one with y'all. And so little hoodoo, you get a gallon of water on the full moon, you put your money under the water and you speak your intentions into the water. You put your money under the water, you leave this in a full moon lit area. And don't let the energies cross though. So you remove it before the sun come up. So you gotta wake up before the sun come up and take the water out of the moonlight. Put that water on your counter, and you've already spoken your intentions, everything you want that as far as money, and you drink a little bit every day to the next full moon. But every day you wake up and take a sip. That gallon should be done by the next full moon. And that money you want to come in the dough gonna come in the dough. So that's the power of what I've seen that work for myself. That's how I got initiated. I'm gonna tell y'all that secret right now. Because I was drinking and speaking. That money dropped 4 days after I completed that ritual. So yeah, I live by it. Do that.
Oh, listen, Linda, listen. So I don't even think I want to ask no more questions because I'll do one more. Only reason because last night I said after the live, shout out to Uncle Hank and Richard Stone. We had a dope conversation last night. Dope conversation. So shout out to both of them brothers. And I'm like, yo, this call is really priceless. Like it's a lot of people online they could charge 500, 1,000, two. Honestly, I feel like if a mother lover was charging 5-10 bands for the jewels that was dropped last night, they really ain't wrong because the value of if you really about that life and you really gonna
I
take
know that's right.
information, it's worth every penny, but it's dependent upon what you're gonna do with it. So I'm gonna say that again tonight. That right there, if we wasn't about what we about and pouring it in and and giving to the people, I would literally cut that out. I'm like, yeah, no, you got to join this master's class for $100 or $200. You know what I'm saying? Like people do that, and I don't really feel like
they do.
If you really have receipts and it really works, I don't feel like that's wrong.
I don't feel like it's wrong, and I also feel like it's important to know that we go back to what we were talking about, right? We want to liberate ourselves. Then the first people we should liberate, I'm saying, first two people we should liberate as a collective. We should liberate mothers, especially of children under 10 years old. There should be a place where we know that we come together and we support women staying home and rearing children. And we should also support our keepers of culture, our Jegna, our Omoe. We should support those who create spaces for us to continuously be African, because that is a labor of love that they are on front line fighting for. You know, I'm a firm believer in that there's going to come a day when the conversations I have are going to cost me my position on the plantation. I just know it's coming. And I hope I've done enough work that where Africans see the value in what I bring that will help aid in me not having to compromise and speak truth, right? Or speak it in code, or speak it in secret, or here and there, and and so that is what we're aiming for. And the only way for us to do that is for us to liberate ourselves, and we as the people can come together and liberate those we value. I believe we should liberate mothers, and I should believe we should liberate our warriors that stand on the front line.
Yes, I share. And real quick, I was trying to type it in, but nah, that's real. Because shout out to the freedom fighters and shout out to the griots, You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's wholeheartedly, like that's what we're talking about. And I sacrifice, my role on that, whatever we want to call it, in that corporation 3 years ago. 3 years ago. I'm almost coming up on my 3rd year anniversary where I said, I'm F it, I'm going all in. Like I believe that based upon what the creator has showed me and what I've been led, to know by the ancestors to, be my GPS and my guidance system, I'm willing to go all in. And even if that goes for, we know how that can happen, but I just look at it like I believe in myself enough to know that I'm going to hustle and work hard enough that I'm not going to fail. I'm not going to sink. I'm going to swim, and I'm going to make it to wherever I'm swimming to. You know what I mean? So it's like, and the tribe is a testament to that, regardless of those fair weather friends or fair weather, people who pop in and pop out and all that. And there's no love and no shade to nobody. I give thanks and honor and grace and gratitude to every person who's ever been on the opposite side of this mic. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and for those, some, I feel like we still can get it in and they'll come back. And for some, probably not. But it ain't because of me. It's because of wherever they at. And it's no, like I said, no love, no shade, no nothing. But I am who I am, always have been, always am, and always will be. Nothing's going to change from me. Not a damn thing. Besides me keeping the buck and doing the work that I was sent here to do. So if you want to get that work in with me, let's get it. If you don't, that's cool too. But at least state your position and keep it a buck. Have enough heart and balls to hold your nuts and let me know why, if you choose so. But that don't really matter. But for the people, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you sharing the love, the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding, overstanding, understanding, understanding of preserving our culture for those who led before us, those who are here with us, and for those who will come after us. I appreciate you, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. I appreciate you for this platform and this opportunity, and seeing the value in the things that I've accumulated over these years.
I say. Oh, yeah, man. And it came a full 180. Like I said, and shout out to Pharaoh and Nandi, for the lounge, man, and all the things that they did, and still do, in space, man.
The movement is continual.
Yeah.
The movement is continual. And when Africans create safe spaces for us, we know that's a battle to maintain. And so shout out to every African who's taken the risk, who said, no, I want a place where Black folk can gather safely. Yeah. The first time I ever met Iya Marimba Ani was at the Warriors Conference in 2015. And she mentioned how the fact that she would hold courses in the back of Baba Amos Wilson's print shop. He owned a version of a Kinko's, which made sense because he was publishing his own books, and in the 80s and 90s, a copy shop was a practical application for the community. So to have one that was Black made even more sense. And she said that it was important to be somewhere where we control how to cut the lights on and off. If we don't have our own buildings and sacred spaces, we're gonna always be moving and shifting. That's another thing we need to invest in. Black folk, just invest with one another. Invest in buildings. We need brick and mortar places that are safe spaces that we can come and cut the lights on and off. And in order for us to have that, we all got to put our monies together to keep the doors open. You even if we're leasing for a time, if that lease is $2,200 a month, the community need to figure out how to come together and donate them $2,200 a month, because that's your communal space. We need those spaces where we could go wherever we want to, and we don't have to charge $1,700 for 4 hours at a hall, because them people got to pay their expenses too. We need our own spaces in our collective communities where we are on the ground. We need spaces where we can meet safely and securely. I'm not telling anybody what to do with their home, but if you get readings, ask if your house is a safe space for people to gather, and if it is, open your home. The spirits will protect you. You ain't got to worry about who coming and going. People ask me that all the time. Well, is it okay if I come to your house, baby? If you ain't supposed to come to my house, spirit ain't gonna let you come to my house. I ain't worried about it. So yeah, create safe spaces.
Yeah, now that's real. Listen, and that's another conversation. I think that one would definitely be one for the private community, because there's people who are in a position financially by far, but I feel like there's certain ties and certain affiliations to certain corporations and certain things that they can't do that even if they wanted to, because of being under the thumb of,
And it's a matter of trust, right? Because I have to trust that if I sit, we have to. That's how we back to preserving culture. If we create those safe spaces where we gather trust, I trust you that when I send you my love offering each month, that because I sent it, it's gonna go to this particular cause. And I also have to trust the fact that I know that if I can only afford to send $20, $30 a month, that my $20, $30 a month may not keep the lights on. So I can't feel some type of way that if I sent it for 6 months and then it turns out we still can't keep the building, that I feel like my money went to waste. It went to the cause, and I just realized it wasn't enough money coming in. We have to have grace and love for Africans and trust one another. And in order for that, we have to be trustworthy people. Being honest is an African trait. Be upright with Black folk. You can lie to other folk because they lied to you. You can steal from them because they stole you. But be honest. Be honest with Black folk.
Yeah, listen, like you look, that's the power of spirit, man, because you reflecting a lot of things that I shared in the private call earlier, like a lot. But that's the power of the spirit, and I share, and that's where I get thanks, because I'm working on something like that. I'm working on something like that. I'm looking forward to being able to. Matter of fact, in due time, I look forward to having these conversations in person. I just say it that way because I'm working on, creating a different level of the Ashe experience. So I'll leave that, to come to fruition in the near future. Coming to a theater or a city or state near you. But we're gonna make it happen.
We're gonna speak it into existence.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So yeah, with that, man, I appreciate you, EI. Anything you want to leave with the tribe before we get out of here? And I definitely look forward to doing it again with you in the near future, especially in this level and on the private community level for sure.
I want to tell Africans that we all we got and we all we need. Anything you need, just look within your culture. Get with Africans that are clear on what it is to be African, because there's a lot of things that are convoluted that feel good to our spirit, that feel good to our emotion, but do not feed our spirit. Africans are not lazy. Africans are disciplined. Africans do not just go with the flow and see where it leads. No, we have structure. Even the water don't just go with the flow. It has a steady path and it's driven by something. So therefore, understand that we have a mission, that we are always being warred upon, and your spirit team is there to help you. So take care of your ancestral shrines. When you cook, they eat. When you gather, ask them if they would like to be a part of those gatherings. When you celebrate your life, you thank them because your life wouldn't be here without them. I celebrate my ancestors for letting me see 44 years. Also, branch out and release any negative ideals you have about African people. Understand this. Any negative ideals you have about African people have their direct roots in our oppression. We at ourselves, we are perfect. Not because we have no flaws. We are perfect because we are nature. Nature is not perfect because it doesn't have flaws. Nature is perfect because it always has the ability to mitigate damages. It has the ability to correct wrongs. It has the ability to bring it back to center. And so that makes us perfect. And we're just on a journey of coming back to the center. I speak peace, love, prosperity, and liberation for every African. We are in a war that we go win. Habibi for Hodie.
Say it with your chest. Olakun Ninja. Yes, sir. Shout out to the Unique Tribe. She said, this is soul food. Yes, sir. I agree 1,000,000,000%. We appreciate you, Tribe. We appreciate
I
you.
appreciate y'all.
Well, listen, I'm not going to try to tap dance on that closing remark. I'm going to leave that thing there. And, yeah, shout out to the Tribe, man. Shout out to Karima, Iyalode, Unique Tribe, and Conke, everybody, man. We appreciate all the love and support, family. And, yeah, we'll be back in the very near future. Shout out to EI, man, for coming and doing what she do. And I appreciate you. And I look forward to, having this on a regular occasion, man. So with that, Tribe, hey, we appreciate the love and support. And shout out to our EIs too, man, the heads of our personal and local tribes here, man. Shout out to Her Royal Majesty and the second in line, man. EI's godmama, man. We appreciate both of y'all. So with that, man, it's been nothing but love. So I'll see y'all in the next episode, Tribe. We are out. Odabo.
Odabo.
Ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé sàpò ìyàgbọ́ tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjà kọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo sí ẹni gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors and praise your